Welcome back, everyone, to the North American Summer Playoffs. You're getting a look at a viewing party taking place across town. The disco ball's going, which means it's party time on the Rift. And fans from all over have been lighting up Twitter with their LCS experience. Troll Papan shared his viewing setup with his little disclaimer: small screen, big hype. We're going to see that in just a moment. So there it is. Whoa. Oh, wow, very small screen, but it was very large hype. It was a disclaimer, to be fair. He gave us a disclaimer.
There's a big flag behind it, too. Lots of hype behind it.
I like it. I like it very much. Then TJ Gillis is watching with his duo queue partner in training. Oh, you hear the collective awes in the stadium. Perfect. Very cute. I'm sure he or she will be hitting the Rift soon enough. Keep hitting us up throughout the weekend. We're at LOL Esports and use the hashtag HowILCS. Now let's get back into today's series with Game 3 between Team Liquid and Impulse. Gentlemen, let's start with picks and bans because we've seen some interesting things pop out.
Yeah, so Team Liquid, I feel like they dropped the ball here in picks and bans. They banned both Kalista and Azir. Luckily for them, they're going to be swapping to blue side, so they don't have to ban the Azir for the fear of the first pick on themselves. But don't ban Kalista. Apollo has only played Kalista one time in the season, and even then, if you free up yourselves to get Azir, Azir is a great champion to play into Kalista. I feel like the Kalista ban, you drop it, you ban Shen or Evelynn, or hell, maybe even Soraka.
Yep.
I feel like you can't let Impact have this Shen, though. I feel like that's a priority ban. It gives them so much skirmish power. It allows them to play towards bottom lane. And when we had Kiwi Kid here, he was telling me and you that he thinks that Impulse is the only team in North American LCS that plays around Shen appropriately and can play it at such a high level. I feel like giving Impact that champion is just a death sentence.
That's a great point. I bring this up time and time again like a broken record. Fly always said they strategize for themselves to do what they want in Champion Select, not against another team. They'll know how to adapt and what to do during that. And also what both teams have kind of fallen back to it on a few lanes is comfort picks, which is awesome to see now, because if what you try, fails, you have comfort to fall back on. So they know this is working, they can go into it nice and easy and get what they want. Even Adrian, he had guys on social media, Nijaki saying, this is why I banned Soraka. Sheep saying, you are a dirty scoundrel for picking this. So Adrian's in a really good spot right now to see what Tip can keep doing. They have the momentum.
Well, you talk about comfort champions. It's very clear that Team Impulse is comfortable, at least in the early game, because they picked up 2 early game leads. Now, game 1, it did end up in a loss. Game 2, they pick up that win.
Yeah, and when you bring out something like Soraka, it's a curveball that they didn't see coming. It's a secret pick that you bring out on the stage.
Yeah.
Now Liquid has to adjust to it. Is it going to throw them off their game coming into game 3?
We'll see if the adjustments have been made. The teams are about to head into Champ Select as we pass it off to our casters. Team Liquid know how to win. They have to withstand Team Impulse's early aggression.
Tip is a very strong early game team. They try to make plays early, and we're just a stronger team in the early game. We in our series against CSM, we had leads in a lot of our games. We don't really throw too much, but in the mid game we do falter a lot. But TFP is the same play. They aren't better than us early game, and they aren't stronger mid game. So they're just, I would say, a weaker version of our team.
Well, especially whether you like it or not, so far the early game has been all Team Impulse all the time. A lot of it being rush, a lot of it being his great gank so far. But you gotta say, Tip's been doing a great job early.
Speaking of the early game too, whenever you do see Soraka in lane, you want to attack her early with ganks because she's very vulnerable to ganks. She doesn't have escapes. She's giving her health away all the time. But they were unable to make that happen because their bottom lane got behind so early with that ambush that they pulled off.
That made it really difficult to deal with.
I think so much that also had to do with the Evelynn that Rush was able to control early on in the game. Not really wanting to push up aggressive against it. And yeah, the nice thing about this, it appears like this series is turning into Kalista and Azir bans for the red side team. So now the Team Liquid is blue side, they have a lot more freedom to take that stuff down.
And we'll see what else comes through. Yeah, there's a Shen ban as well, right? So a lot of expected things. Liquid at least adapting very quickly throughout the games and saying, okay, well, we think this is more important, this is more important. Let's add to the ban list here things that we know Impulse do well with. Maokai banned away. I want to know if they steal away Evelynn. They do not. The Alistar, though, finally left up, and Liquid happy to take it away.
Yeah, that point, man, is always great to have on your team. Does bring the front line even later into the game. Always opening up early roams as well as tower dives, so very good early flexible pick here. Let's see what Impulse decided to go with. Braum is still on the field, so it's not like the support pool has been cut too heavily with just the Soraka ban.
Yeah, I mean, when she's only been played for the first time last game, you figure other supports have been played at some point here, and you feel Adrian's going to be fairly comfortable playing something else. The Elise, though, is left open without the Shen, doesn't want to play Evelyn, so Elise comes through, and now Adrian gets to play Janna.
Good against Alistar in lane, because you can interrupt the combo if there's any gank coming your way.
As long as he doesn't flash.
I like the switch up too by Team Impulse, taking the Janna away from X Special. Obviously the Alistar was already being there, but it's Adrian to have the peel for whatever type of composition Team Impulse wants to blow out. With the Elise, they're already a longer range team, and it's a way to maybe curb the lacking Team Liquid aggression that they're already having.
Yeah, curiously, Kog'Maw was left up, and even though it was a ban from Liquid in Game 1, a pick from them in Game 2, Impulse don't feel like they have to let that one, like they don't have to rush pick that one, right? There's no need to pick Janna early, but yet again, Impulse are hiding a lot of picks later on throughout the pick and ban phase so far. Gragas comes through, the Orianna grabbed right away, even though that Lulu is safe for Gate. Looks like Team Liquid cares more about Gate's Orianna than his Lulu.
Yeah. They're just trading Orianna Lulu mid lane back and forth, just supportive mids through and through.
Orianna's won both times, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, she does have the advantage just straight up in the 1 versus 1.
Yeah, if they run this, though, it really puts on Apollo in a position where he would need to hyper carry of some kind. He did have the Vayne game against CLG where he got going early. Kog'Maw being up as well as a much better Juggernaut type team composition. Here we go.
Yeah, there is a lot to catch him from Team Liquid side. Let's see if the double support can keep him safe.
I'm curious what Impact will play. Last time around, they had him on Ryze as a major threat. Well, the Maokai he was fighting in Game 1 has been banned away. I want to know if Impact will continue to play a high damage champion or a big playmaker. At least on Shen, he can help, you know, rush make those big dives happen, so you can kind of consider that one to be an aggressive champion in certain ways. But the Shen gone and the Ryze, I feel like maybe unlikely.
Whenever blind picking a top laner, yeah, I kind of feel like Gnar is the go-to safe blind pick for top lane.
Fits the comp too.
So maybe he'll Gnar out.
Well, Pig that's still hovering on the Vayne. Oh, this is interesting. Now, I've seen him play it before when he said the other team didn't have much damage. Yeah. Right now, it's only the Kog'Maw, but this is a license to play any champion you want up there now.
Yeah, a couple mega tanks from Team Liquid coming through. It has been a while since we've seen Quas's Scion. It's going to be a lot for Kog'Maw to cut through, even though he's going to be buffed up by Janna and Lulu. It's almost forcing Team Impulse to try and pick a more damaging top laner to close out this team composition, or at least some way to flank around this gargantuan front line that Team Liquid is putting together.
Ooh, that'll go right through it. That'll go right through it. Malphite picked up.
You were talking about Fly taking cues from overseas.
Yeah.
Now we do get to see the Malphite make its way over as well. Not in conjunction with the Ashe, but still.
Cali Trolls was right all along, guys.
The point
Top lane
and click
Malphite.
initiation is here. Wow, so the hard initiation mixed in with the Kog'Maw buffing double support style here from Impulse.
I do have to wonder what the Malphite is for, though. Like, who exactly is diving alongside him? I mean, I know Rush can try, but is that really enough?
There's only one target for Malphite in this game, Freak. I know you know who it is.
Yeah, it's the 80 carry. Everyone hates us.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
So
it's
easy question to answer.
Yeah, fair point, Kobe.
Yeah, but I do kind of see where you're coming from there, Freak, because the rest of the team is very much Juggernaut, you kill the front line, your Kog'Maw is the front line, what do you do after that? I think a lot of that is just a closing potential. If they do get them low with Apollo, that's when Impact comes in for the finisher with Unstoppable Force.
Yeah, Malphite is not a good peeling champion. There are far better peeling tanks that you could have in the top lane. This is a very offensive tank champion that you have in the top lane.
Yes, it is.
Corners you into one style there for him.
All right, we'll see if the style works out then here for Team Impulse. 1-1 in this series. The champions are locked in, so lock in your votes on Twitter. Let us know who's going to grab third place. We're here into Game 3, 1-1 this series so far. Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag TLWin or the hashtag TIPWin. They've traded one back and forth. We know we've got at least 4 games for us tonight, but we're going to find out who wins Game 3 as we load into the Rift right now.
Yeah, 1-1 as you said right now. There's a lot of importance on these games. If Team Liquid wins, they still have a chance of auto-qualifying for Worlds based on championship points. If Team Impulse wins, they would be the highest seed in the regional qualifier and only have to win one additional best of 5 to make it into Worlds. So very important game here since we've essentially reduced it down to a best of 3.
Next 2 wins, it's going to feel really good about themselves. We'll see who that ends up being. And if the level ones have changed much, the junglers continue to trade jokes in the front lines. Impact takes the first damage of the game. He's starting to get W.
Yeah.
I guess for a camp.
Malphite can actually brawl pretty well with Blue Strikes now. It's received significant buffs since the start of the season.
20 damage on hit for 6 seconds. Not
Yeah.
bad.
Tanked a full damage Quas Q and then still came away from the trade pretty much even.
Atrian didn't get off any Spell Thieves attacks. Heartbreaking there for him.
I hate Spell Thieves Janna, by the way.
Yeah, I'm curious, actually. They don't need the extra speed, he feels like. They're just going to stand and fight, I guess.
It's not going to go Frost Queen.
I actually really dislike not picking up. I mean, he may switch over to it later, so it could just be for some laning power. But if you have the speed boost, it makes it really easy to work around the Scion ultimate. Everybody can get out of the way immediately. It almost guarantees that you don't even get a Scion ultimate to hit in the game unless it's point blank.
All right, well, we're going to see the lane assignments right now, and for the third game in a row, the duo lanes will match up at level 1. Quas and Dom start up on the Gromp. Looks like Elise.
So there's an extra little twist that you can do. Oh, he interrupts the big crud there. There's an interesting little twist that you can do when you have Scion with your double jungle specifically. I like to let the Scion tank so much that he gets down to almost dying, and then he can go do a camp by himself. He can go over to Wolves and do it because he's about to kill himself and execute, and then take it down with his passive. So it's one of the fastest double jungles there are in the entire game, because after taking so much damage with the first 2 camps, he could go do one by himself, but they don't take advantage of it here. I feel like that's a missed opportunity, small advantage they could have taken.
Team Liquid hasn't been taking too many of the small opportunities in the early game. Team Impulse has had the pretty big advantage by the 10 or 20-minute mark in all of these games. I really want to see the impact of Rush's Elise now as well, because this has been something that he has been denied, has been banned away in the entire COG series. It was banned away in game 1 of this series. It's something he beat Team Dignitas with 3 times in the quarterfinals.
A swing and a miss.
Close one by Quas. I think it was a 9 CS. I think it's where he was aiming it, in front of a low health minion. I could be wrong, I didn't actually check, but that'd be my guess is why he would aim it there. Dominic continuing to jungle, he's over on his red buff. Smite and a barrel makes that one totally safe and easy. Level 3 on him. And Rush is already heading over. Now, Impact has a 4-second long slow.
Yeah.
Which will make it real easy to Cocoon. He's got a red buff. Here's the attempt. There's the slow. There's the jump on in. And they will land the Cocoon stun. 1.6 seconds, but Quas, of course, a very, very durable champion. He's got a flask, walks away.
Scion is so durable, only at level 3 right now, but he eats pretty much the entire gank right to the face, doesn't even burn flash away. And since he's gone full consumables, he can actually sustain that up in the lane. What it does do, though, is it buys Impact a lot of free time to get the CS on Malphite.
All right, Freak. I went back and checked for you. There was a low health minion in the range, but he didn't deny it.
Oh, okay.
Impact still went in and got the minion after the spell was completed.
Thank you, Kobe.
So if it was an attempt, it failed.
Good enough for me.
Swing and a miss.
It's okay, no one bats 1,000. Special went for some wards, has come back to the lane, just gonna easily sustain up this Vayne. Now, you're right that Alistar doesn't really get to do many aggressive things in the lane. Janna can stuff the engages. What he does do is heal up the really minuscule poke that Janna Cog can never do. And if it were a Leona, I'd be more accepting of getting Spell Thieves because you can hit her forever and eventually wear her health down. Alistar will never have to leave lane, nor will Vayne in this kind of situation. But basically, he's allowed to play a really safe game, sustain Piglet up, and both these carries should be fairly uncontested, getting a whole lot of gold in the laning phase.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of harass there that Piglet took from Apollo.
Yeah, which he can safely do because he's with Alistar. Like, I don't even think it's going to hurt Piglet much.
Yeah, plus they have got wards coming all the way down the river, so he hasn't even started to drink his health potion yet either. He's relying only on Alistar's sustain. He's comfortable to sit at half HP, which is fairly rare.
Yeah, but again, it's a no gank assist lane. Like, Cog Janna doesn't really slow you down by any meaningful stretch, so the Elise gank itself, you headbutt him away, no one cares anymore. So Team Liquid gonna be all right. Up 3 CS so far on Vayne, so actually massive props to Piglet for the fact that he's gonna be winning his lane gold income-wise. Adrian does a bit of harass, but not up by much. Quas and Impact mostly hitting minions against each other. I like this, they're actually hitting things next to each other.
Well, Neither of these guys are known for their burst early on in the game.
They both have crystalline flash starts, so
Yeah.
kind of a waste of time.
In fact, the minions will outdamage the champion, so why even pull aggro?
Yeah, one interesting thing is everyone's waited a fair bit on their first item in this game, so the lanes would technically be gankable right now if Dominate and Rush didn't collide into each other already in the river to give the gank away. Dominate really wants to get pressure control there, though.
Impact's starting to actually wear his way through Quas's consumables as well. Low on mana, but actually a fairly low health Quas here. Dominate with a pink ward will sweep away. And all as well. Minion lead actually for Quas, so props to him. Actually winning by a little bit in gold, just slightly.
Level 6 attained for both top laners as well, and they both have very powerful gank assistance ultimates. The other thing is that if one of them can get the pressure in their lane and push the minion wave all the way under turret, as Quas is doing right now, then they can also do a lane gank bottom. A Scion ult coming through the lane can also be effective down in that bottom lane early on and force a teleport out to try and gain that advantage.
This is actually very rare that Rush ganks like this. He doesn't camp rushes for extremely long periods of time. So this would be unexpected.
Tumbles
Pivot
down.
staying around.
Oh wow, I can't believe he didn't
Cocoon
go for
flash.
that. I can't believe he
Cocoon
didn't go
flash
for
to
that.
kill him.
Yeah, there's no cleanse on Pivot this game. He has gone with heal instead.
He's practically in range.
Patience is a virtue.
There's the Q. There's the condemn. There's the flash. They land it onto the support. Special has no ulti. 3-man pulverize. Exhaust comes in, flashes out.
I can't believe he waited till right then to go for it without going for it before. About 5 seconds earlier, there was a better opening. But as far as, you know, the change in playstyle, Elise's kit is all about, if she has Fog of War advantage, the combo is death. So definitely lane ganks in, sneaking into brush. Value added there.
Even so, they burned 2 summoner spells from Team Liquid, both of their flashes, but they burned 3 summoner spells of their own because you count Rush's flash, Adrian's flash, and an exhaust. Yes, Apollo will still have a flash advantage, and if they do a return gank, there's not as much of an escape, but that really wasn't that successful of a gank.
No.
They lost the summoner spell trade.
Feel like he missed his opening and then tried to make up for it later.
Very interested in this top lane matchup, though. 2 big tanks. They work a little bit differently in terms of how they function in team fights, but as far as movable objects go, Quas is going to be just a little bit more durable, as he's still winning in the farm game. Neither have recalled back for items just yet. Impact, I'm still surprised to see him just play big dumb tanks, but maybe he's got an interesting build in mind. And maybe he can kill off Piglet. If that's the case, of course, then Impulse will have an easy job in team fights.
Yeah, I really wonder if he's going to go just Omega tank Malphite, or if he's going to go more of the bursty type of Malphite with an Abyssal Scepter.
Yeah, it is fairly hard for Impulse to lend some follow-up damage behind Impact, though, because Apollo's going to have to dodge so many things. I don't know if he'll be able to expose himself trying to follow up. We'll see if they're able to get some good positioning, though.
It is going to be Cinderhulk for Rush, just in case you were wondering if it was going to be AP Elise as the follow-up. Yeah, so low damage.
A lot of attention down to this bottom lane.
Yeah, they're trying to go for Adrian and punish him for the flash that he used. No Scion being called down, though. They're just sticking up in the top lane, hammering it out.
Yeah, they can both interrupt each other's teleports fairly easily if someone does try and force down there. If they both start teleporting down, Impact would have the immediate advantage because his offense is more instantaneous once he arrives. Here we go. Adrian, no flash.
Beautiful. Pops the ult to buy some time, but he's got nowhere to go. Exhaust goes on, and Apollo's got to be real careful. Does some damage to Piglet, but First Blood, crucially, goes to the AD carry of Team Liquid.
Yep. As I said, got a target on his back using that flash early in the gank before. Really good ultimate there from Dominate. Pretty easy on a stationary target while they're channeling, but nonetheless, able to get it right into Piglet's hands.
Yeah, and crucially, even though Team Liquid blew 2 defensive flashes, they kept Dominate's flash from the previous engagement down bottom, and that's exactly what you need on Gragas. Every time you use flash with the body slam, you have the potential to net a kill, and he just used it in exactly the right spot.
They went to the right place. So solid stuff. Team Liquid finally having a strong early game. I shouldn't say finally. Game 1 was actually pretty solid until the Dragon fight. and it got turned around by a good team fight of Impulse. Good dodge by Phoenix, walks in a straight line. Rush is bad at playing Space Invaders.
Rush, even though he's used at least before, definitely been vocal that it isn't one of his favorite champions.
Yeah. Cinderhulk Rylai's was his build during the quarterfinals against Team Dignitas in all 3 games, so it looks like it's going to be a similar path for Rush again this game. It's got actually very good, it's got pretty good late game scaling as well, because he can repel in and do a bunch of work.
Yeah, the team is also really heavily magic damage for Impulse, so going pure damage would be definitely unadvised or ill-advised for Rush.
Yeah.
Some more tank would be good. I also think that we should see one of the two, either jungle or support on Team Liquid, rush to the Aegis of the Legion and try and get that as quickly as possible.
Speaking of the magic damage heavy team already, though, Quas with the Banshee's Veil is his first item on Scion. Specifically good against the Malphite in lane, since it makes him nearly immune to the poke, but just really strong in team fights as well, considering all the magic damage coming through. Quas is going to be scaling into a monstrous magic damage tank throughout this one.
Yeah, the physical damage percentage health from Cog doesn't come in for a lot longer, so you've got time before you can wait to build your armor.
Yeah, curiously, one of the interesting things is Adrian's gold income becomes really relevant. The faster we get Zeke's, the faster MR tanking stops being useful.
Yeah.
So it's actually one guy to really watch for, actually, as money is a big deal in this Janna right now.
Those support spikes are getting more and more important.
Which is good to see. I'm really glad they have like really meaningful items to buy in the mid game. I'm really glad that item exists, not just because I'm an AD carry player.
Great combination right there as we're talking about supports. Jungle and support duo going for the invading, clearing out that ward. Dominating Special have been very good as far as their mid-game duo goes.
Yeah, you can tell Team Liquid starting to take a pressure advantage in this game. The fact that X Special and Dominator are able to team up like that and then go clear the deep defensive wards that Team Impulse has placed is just an accumulation of pressure from the early game.
It's huge to get Piglet that early kill and get him to the point where you can leave him in lane. Alistar's greatest strength is roaming when they do get a lane where he can leave the AD carry and go create plays for the rest of the team.
This is the real highlight, though, this top lane.
Isn't it, though?
It's intense.
What people came to see.
All right. He's able to sneak in here. Does take the damage with his Spiderlings, though. I don't think they tanked any shot that he didn't take damage from. Doesn't matter, though. Percentage health on both forms, and they're able to burn it down.
Gives a new Spiderling, and all is well.
Not even going to smite.
Well, we got a combat smite. You really want to keep those charges, of course. So, able to save a Chilling Smite charge in case he gets himself into a battle. First dragon goes without a lot of effort required by Impulse. So a cursory glance by Adrian, and 20 seconds of time by the jungler, totally okay for them. Impulse, though, down 1,000 gold.
Yeah, and as far as the Titans in the top lane here, Quas continuously shoving into the turret and earning himself a marginal lead over Impact.
The Banshee's Veil just makes him untouchable now. Even if Rush were to come to gank, I don't know if they'd be able to take him down.
Yeah, it's all about trying to control the wave now too, and he even puts himself in a dangerous position because of the base values on Scion there. Not able to get out in front of it. Especially going to take a pretty good amount of harassment bottom lane, and the war over pink wards. Both of them have been identified, but neither can go to clear out the other. There's that pressure of the Orianna matchup versus Lulu.
Yeah,
finally coming to pain.
This is Phoenix doing a much better job in this matchup than he did the last time he played Gate. He's really been pressing his advantage more so. I definitely think that's aided by Dominate and X Special's ability to stop basically Rush's deep wards and give really good knowledge of where Rush has been, so Phoenix can press his advantage.
The Scion spam!
Impact definitely losing here. Like, the lane pressure that Team Liquid is accumulating is very dangerous for Team Impulse. Not only is it First Blood, but they do not have assistance really arriving for these turrets at any time. All 3 lanes individually are out pressuring for Team Liquid versus Team Impulse.
Yep. He denies it. Gets his body in the way, and Impact cannot click on the minion. So that's 17 gold denied right there. Smart play by Quas.
Yep.
And yeah, every wave it gets worse and worse. Team Liquid feeling really good about themselves. All the good was undone.
Doesn't even have mana to clear the way of his turret anymore. Quas, unless there's assistance up there, is going to be out pressuring Impact.
That's what winning looks like.
Yeah, that's how you win that matchup.
Attack
slow
me,
burn.
not the minions. And the gold difference definitely growing. It's 600 between the two of them. But we're seeing the team start roaming around, though. You've got Oriana coming in.
It's another double invade.
Oh, and he can't jump up into the air in time.
Oh,
Exhaust is
wow.
going to time out, though, while he's in the air. Adrian buys enough time for Rush to survive.
Yeah.
Even so, it's X Special and Dominate teaming up and continually invading. They're trying to transition the pressure from the mid lane into the bottom lane. Not super successful there, though, because of the repel.
Yeah, it's really not turning into a lot aside from the kill that Dominate got. And yes, okay, the money went to Piglet. The AD carries are farming equally here. So Kog'Maw is definitely off the ground. Trinity Force done and plenty of time for any major fight to come in the future. They already snuck the first dragon. This time actually a much faster pace for Impulse. If they were to keep playing the dragon game, they would actually be on a much better timer for them. But we'll see. Of course, Team Liquid actually with an advantage, though, and one that they can actually use, I believe. The question is, what do they want to leverage with the gold lead? Secondary recalls come in for the top laner. Spectre's Cowl and Boots for Quas. A finished Frozen Heart for Impact. Both save their summoner TPs.
Well, to answer your question, I think they want to get to, once they get to the point where they feel comfortable to have Piglet split pushing and having control over one of the lanes here, then they'll want to knock down the last of the outer turrets. He is working towards that point. He still has to be fairly scared of the Malphite Elise combo. That's what they're eventually working towards. You know, try and get some vision for him as well.
If Impact can go Thornmail second, I don't think Piglet can split against him. I think before that
You
point,
think
it's
he's
fine.
going to leave the Bomby Cinder there?
He bought it first item and then went Frozen Heart already. I think it's just for the minor wave clear to not get pushed in so hard.
Could leave it.
It's really up to his decision. I mean, this is the player who went Bomby Cinder first on Yasuo before. So he's known to keep the item. There's really a lot of ways to go with it. I actually think Thornmail second is correct, though, in the specific lane split push case.
Yeah. Thing is, at the moment, they're just matching it with the Scion right now because the Scion is completely immovable, and as long as Quas is matching that, Impact kind of needs to sit up there as well.
Totally agree. Well, still an MR-heavy Quas, though, so as soon as Apollo does get into that lane, it gets really hard for Quas to defend all of this. It's actually interesting to see that TIP didn't, in fact, swap any lanes around. They didn't go for a turret trade or try to bully out the Scion earlier. They're happy to stay in the losing one-on-one and the tied 2-on-2.
At this point, I kind of feel like Impact might even want to dip out and grab a Chalice.
Oh, yeah.
For the matchup. It's very good in this matchup, and it's not that bad against the team in general either. Liquid do have a decent amount of magic damage as well, so it might be worth the pressure, but it might be too late. The turret's almost dead.
Exactly. The turret is completely starved right here, and it's getting a little bit dicey for Team Impulse. I think they're generally okay because Apollo does have his Trinity Force. He's not getting tremendously outfarmed. They do want to start Juggermawing at some point, maybe once he gets Blade of the Ruined King. Because if they do swap for rotation or try and make a play, almost instantly that top lane turret is going to fall, and it's a big risk. Basically, the first move the Team Impulse would make, they would need to be able to get a turret off of it for the sacrifice that their top lane turret is going to have, and I just don't think any of the other lanes are in a position to do so. So it's kind of one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations, unless they can turn around an aggressive play by Team Liquid.
They saw that ward placed.
They saw him walk across the river as well, so an easy sweep there for Adrian.
Yeah. Plus, you know, as far as trading dragons for these outer turrets, neither of these teams have been able to do much with just outer turret advantage. And the outer turrets have been fairly easy for both sides to pick up towards the mid game. See if it happens here, though. Both or one top laner recalling here. Impact is going back to base to try and get mana for this fight. And Quas follows.
Okay, Spectre's Cowl comes in, so now some MR for Impact.
Okay.
He does want to be ready. He recalled because he wants the items for the dragon fight. Not the case for Quas right now. His gold would give him just about Spirit Visage. It's close.
Yeah, he can take the turret and then just recall after it's already gone and grab that gold to buy with as well. So let's see if Impulse try and pressure him for this.
Looks like Impulse going to try first. They've actually pushed Liquid out a little bit. Vayne's behind the wall, but Dominic could always try to steal.
Sion's much better if he can get to the fight and set up and get a clear path for his ultimate than he
Right.
is to teleport right on top of a fight.
Impulse don't commit the dragon.
There are a few wards that have been within Team Impulse's jungle. They're clearing those now because Adrian did a very early level 9 upgrade of his sweeper. They've actually done that twice per rush as well, so they're really trying to guard against any type of teleport. They need to control this own vision of theirs so Apollo can farm safely. It's another really difficult situation, too, to be the team down 3,000 gold trying to play the dragon stacking game. I think if Team Liquid plays this properly, they're going to be able to completely deny Team Impulse the dragon.
What
Yeah.
a severe gold lead.
You can almost even use it as bait as well if you're the team with the gold advantage. And just try and draw Impulse out for a good Sion ultimate. All right, proxy farming for both top laners here, just trying to farm behind the turrets.
You mentioned, by the way, Aegis coming through at some point. Dominate has gotten Aegis already. He's heavily outfarmed Rush.
That's good for them.
Right as Piglet had recalled for his static shift, Team Impulse rushes the dragon. That's actually just incredible time because they're not actually giving up anything for this.
Yeah.
Really smart.
Do they have a ward on that recall, or did they just predict it?
I don't believe they knew. I don't see any decent wards from the red side. Just the normal setup here. I think they just realized what was happening. We'd seen them aggress onto Dragon a couple different times. They tried once, they aggroed it, they saw a contest and backed out. Able to try it again this time, it worked out, no one showed, so it seems like they're just happy to kind of poke a prod, and if nothing happens, well, I guess it's ours.
And Team Liquid had actually invested fairly heavily. They had ward coverage not only at the dragon, but also within the Team Impulse jungle, so to lose that one, they actually lose out on a decent-sized investment. With that all being said, though, their magic resist stacking is reaching levels of absurdity. Quas, Spectre's Cal, and the Banshee's Veil, plus the Aegis of the Legion from I Will Dominate. Team Impulse, it would take them maybe 20 seconds of free hitting Quas to take him down. Maybe more.
At the current state, that's the case here. We have 1,500 gold on Kog'Maw, so that is at least the Cutlass being done. He's still another 2,000 gold short of Blade of the Ruin King, but you've also got most of Zeke's Herald done on Adrian. So at a certain point, that champion gets really difficult to deal with. Maybe that Kog'Maw, I do think Kog'Maw can do more in this game than Vayne, because he can actually outrange a Frozen Heart Aura, as good as that requirement actually is. And also with his special going towards Face of the Mountain, you have just not the same multipliers that Adrian will give to Apollo, but it's still Team Liquid with a gold lead off of really strong lanes.
Absolutely. The team with the Lulu mid and the Janna, not even counting the differences of the ranges and the scalings of the AD carries, will be more set up to succeed. But obviously that 5,000 gold lead is the bigger story.
Yes.
And whether or not Phoenix can get good shockwaves off in these fights, whether or not Team Liquid can tank properly to enable Piglet to fly around whatever side of the team fight he wants to go for. That's going to be a thing that's very critical for TL, is whether or not Piglet can be successful against an AD carry who outranges him by so much. If he ever wants to do damage, it's difficult for him to get to the squishy targets.
We've actually seen that happen. Was Piglet playing? No, he was playing Sivir in the game. The replay showed before this match actually happened, the Week 9 game between Team Liquid and Team Impulse. Apollo's playing Kog'Maw. One bad fight, Liquid is in range, gets killed in 4 auto attacks.
The final regular season game that actually decided the first seed, or the team to be in the first place qualifier.
Yeah, they put Team Liquid up in the battle against CLG. Where they took the first seed in a tiebreaker. Well, that's in the long history, but we see the lanes swapped back around. We saw Piglet top lane recently, and now we've seen Apollo go back there himself.
And despite the early sweeper upgrades from Team Impulse, yet again, Team Liquid flood the jungle with wards. And they've got complete vision within Impulse's side of the jungle. Plus, all of their turrets are still standing, so it makes it very easy for Team Liquid to control the neutral objectives here and try and pressure Team Impulse. Now is where you're trying to close them off and keep them bottled up so they start losing CS. Make it very dangerous for them to switch between lanes because you control all of the vision in the jungles between those lanes.
So good luck for Impulse matching the rotations of Team Liquid. Quas is happy just to ignore Impact to go for the minion lines. Looks like the most epic battle on the Rift today is still happening, and Impact starting to win this battle. Wow, what a fight between the two of them. Wow, Frozen Heart.
Eventually, one of them might run out of mana. That's the way this is going. Farm it up.
Now they chug flasks back and forth. There's hitting spells on cooldown. I mean, it's Frozen Heart. They've got a lot of mana to burn. and a lot of spells to cast. Health bars are going down. Impact at 1300 HP. Quas at 2K. Lands another charge Q. Impact still losing this fight.
Impact's getting the minions down sooner, though. That's the only goal he had. Takes the coward's way out. Oh, boy.
Oh.
Well, Quas establishes
What?
dominance, and Dominate also
Establishes-
establishes that he's flashless.
Yeah, it's like that barrel he threw in game 1. I don't need this.
Yeah.
Actually, he really does. That's a really big cooldown
Give it back.
that Dominate lost, because that's their only way of engaging through if they want to isolate Apollo.
Yeah, the thing is, Kogma's still, okay, he finally did start putting his points into Caustic Spittle, but only because he's maxed out everything else. But he didn't even have the armor shred available to him as Kogma either. Definitely going to be waiting on that Blade of the Ruin King completion before
He's got money for it.
want to take that fight.
Oh, you were right, Kobe. Sunfire did come through for Malphite.
Shabuya.
Yeah, you win. Congratulations. Ruin King money is in. 70% CDR on Adrian, so
Yeah, they've had such pink ward coverage here. While that whole fight was happening bottom, Team Liquid is winning a vision war within this jungle, but they're definitely respecting the collapse from Team Impulse. They do not want to catch themselves within this Baron pit.
Oh,
Oh,
Piglet
dear.
takes a hit.
oh wow. Let him lifesteal. And then he gives it away
But
anyway.
give me my money, though.
Yeah.
Reasonable. He will, if he doesn't condemn, he'll actually almost lose health against Karam. There we
I
go.
don't know. He had a...
Here we go.
Round 2.
Oh! Impact dodges the Q, then runs away.
That's just the way he's going to play. That's how he wants to play. The important thing here is actually the dragon, whether or not we're going to see flank initiations.
Cross tanks it all.
That's dangerous.
Yeah,
They don't
launch the
have-
Juggernaut. That
Dominate's
was
got
2
no
hits
flash.
from Apollo.
He has Blade of the Ruin King completed now as
Yeah.
well. That's why they're...
Yeah.
This is exactly when Team Impulse wants to play the Dragon game. If they win this one, they get 3 dragons and actually have an outside win condition. They got good poke on Team Liquid as well, so this is dangerous times actually for the team that's been leading the entire game.
It'd be Dragon number 3 for Team Impulse. Actually a pretty meaningful one to give away. But the knockup comes through. Impact is safe in the front line series. A tanky man buys some time against Quas. Q lands, doesn't even deal meaningful damage.
Yeah, it's all about when Impact wants to pull the trigger for that Malphite ultimate, then potentially the fight begins.
Do they want to risk a Dragon Steel? Stun lands, big damage on a Quas here, down to 2/3. Dragon's still hitting Impulse though.
It's Dragon Steel. Dominate's not one to opt out of a smite
It's got a
fight.
hard reset now, though.
Impulse is backing away.
Their tanks lost a lot of health from Dragon, honestly. Wow.
And interestingly enough, Team Liquid doesn't even turn and burn the Dragon right after. They're now going to pressure the Baron because that's where they have pink ward control. The only thing I see from this is they're trying to generate a pick.
Seems to be the try. Now the tanks are a bit separated, actually. We're missing Quas right now in this group of Team Liquid members.
And that's this split. 11 kills is the lowest for an NALCS game. There was once a CLG game where they won 4 kills to 0. That was actually
Curse, right?
against Curse, who is now Team Liquid, so they know all about playing the long game.
Back in the front line, kills a ward. Way more ward kills than champion kills in this game.
This is not your typical Team Impulse game.
No.
Let's just say that. They were by far the bloodiest team at the 15-minute mark. It extended towards the 30-minute mark as well, but now at 30 minutes, we're at 1 kill. The hyper tanks in the top lane are contributing to this. The fact that Apollo really just wants to continue to scale up on this Kog'Maw, and they're almost daring Team Liquid to not have enough damage to break through the Juggernaut. And it's going to be an arms race between the power of Apollo and the power of the Team Liquid tank line.
Well, Dragons can't run away, guys, unless they're played by Shyvana. Impact and Rush going to take this one
They
down.
have to kill this pretty fast. They do not have vision. Any check would be incredibly dangerous. Piglet can shred this on Vayne. They have to go fast.
There are a few coming around. 3 members hitting it right now. Phoenix, Piglet, and Quas, special winning the wings. Dominates here as well. Baron's
Impact's
losing a
not even
lot of
close.
health. No one's even close. That's going to be Baron picked up, but here's the TP. Special lost his ultimate. He's lost a lot of health. Now, will there be a re-engage? Malphite can start a fight whenever he wants.
Oh, this is so dangerous from Team Liquid. Their 2 main carries, Phoenix and Piglet, both had over 2,000 gold in inventory and hadn't spent it, and yet they go for the Baron to try and trade on Dragon. They end up giving away a turret as well, but that is worth it.
Impulse, I think, could have gotten tier 2 as well. Many guys were still recalling, but afraid of the empowered recalls, afraid of the recombine, giving him the time there. Piglet went Trinity Force, by the way, third.
Yeah, move speed.
Very
Vayne.
kite-based.
That was very dangerous. They had almost 6,000 gold in pockets.
Yeah, and dangerous, but incredibly crucial if they want to start closing this game. They could not handle the wave clear, and now they get Baron empowered minions. Impulse would actually have to fight this one, and that would require Impact to go in.
But they catch up to Rush, who's forced to flash away from this one, could not repel out. So that is mid lane tier 2 down, 4 turrets to 1. Liquid still looking to go forward. Phoenix is safe, Piglet's safe, and the damage is coming through.
They can't go. Apollo has no mana. He's in base.
Everyone is recalling. They could not manage their waves. It's just straight push up the gut for Team Liquid. They're going to get the inhibitor.
Impulse not even fighting. No champion kills happen, and yet we found 2 turrets, an inhibitor, and a Baron going down in favor of Team Liquid.
Apollo ran himself out of mana, and Rush got chunked. They can't do anything.
Bad timing. Even after the Baron, Impact teleported in really late and didn't manage the wave. They're constantly playing catch-up. Even now, Gate is still in base trying to run out.
Well, they might have to be careful. There's no flash for Rush. Thankfully for him, dodges the Condemned to not get hit on the wall here. Blue Trigger uses spot out. Quasi's doing a bit of damage. Adrian gets the actual trigger. Oh, flash away. It only hits one. Impact doesn't care about shockwaves, but maybe he cares about I will dominate. Has to ult away.
No.
He's the first ult of the
This is
game.
it. This is the Baron double cannon minion wave with no Malphite. This could be 2 inhibitors for Team Liquid off a single kill in the early game.
This game is 1-0 and Liquid about to smash their second inhibitor. Impulse have yet to find a fight they want to be a part of. Another last 2 inhibs, but Xpecial takes a lot of damage. Adrian buys a bit of time. Maybe they can start killing off the front line. Quas losing a lot of time. Impact still milling around, but they've still not killed off Xpecial. Impact's gonna go down. The body slam comes in. There's one picked up. It's gonna be Rush for the second. They get him. 3 kills picked
That's
up
game.
for 1. That's gonna be the game. 4 kills to 1. They find the next one. They're gonna keep going forward. It's gonna be all they need. It's only the Lulu alive. 5 kills to 1 is gonna be the game. Team Liquid take their second.
What?
We never got to see why they last picked Malphite.
Yeah,
We
never
literally
have I
never
ever seen a slower Team Impulse game than that one from a strategic perspective. They just waited around, and Team Liquid had the lead the entire time. The trade of Dragon 3 for the Baron, and then the game was just over. They pushed down 6 turrets with that Baron and won the game.
6 kills in the entire game. 33 minutes long.
Oh my goodness.
Team Liquid, well, I guess it's a curse. Xpecial said our early game is better. I said, well, based on the games we've seen, I don't think that's true. Turns out their early game was a bit better. They won every single lane. They won the jungle.
What a
And then
strange game.
They made the one smart choice of trading Dragon for Baron. Impulse did not react properly.
Yeah, and then it was just
Golf clap.
a cycle. It was a cycle of Team Impulse rotating at poor times. The minion waves were not managed when the Baron was taken, and they never really had 5 people there. Impact losing his unstoppable force defensively instead of trying to hold the inhibitor turret was the straw that broke the camel's back after 32 minutes of trying to stay even. Weird game.
Let's send it over to the analysts.
Yeah, Dash, please tell us what this game is about.
Thank you, Freak. I've got a little bit of help to tell you a little bit about that game. We've got CLG's owner, Hotshot GG, in the analyst lounge, helping us break down that game. Gentlemen, let's talk about that game. Another one that just kind of ended very abruptly there, and as the guys on the caster disc just said, they're calling into question that last pick Malphite.
Yeah, it didn't do a whole lot for them, and we were actually talking back and forth about how the Malphite built to counter the Vayne as opposed to building for the lane, and you saw that what ended up happening was the Scion built for the lane and started getting a CS advantage, got that turret, and basically all the lanes won across the board there for Team Liquid, and they ended up not pushing that advantage too much. It was a slow but steady thing. Even though there was only one team fight at the end that really blew things up, it was a long time coming. Team Liquid had prepped for that fight through basically every possible way they could have, so the setup for that one moment was all they needed.
And Hotshot, I think even a little bit more questionable when we take into consideration the fact that Impulse has been performing well in the early game. That's where they had been establishing their leads and getting their wins, but if they're not setting themselves up for strong lanes, then they do go down like they did against Team Liquid, and ultimately Team Liquid rolls over.
Yeah, Impact has a stronger early game, and then TL has a better late game in team play. So it's really down to Impact to work to their strengths instead of their weaknesses.
Yeah,
Right.
and I feel like Rush was also invisible this game. He had some ganks
Yeah.
that he could have made bottom lane. He waited too long on them. I feel like Rush this entire series has been playing scared. I don't know if it's land jitters, I don't know what it is, but he doesn't seem like his normal self. Even his builds are different now than his aggressive builds. Save for the Evelyn one, where he was very aggressive with that one. But that was a game that they ended up winning because he was aggressive. I feel like without Xiao Xiao in the mid lane, this Impulse needs to have a lot of pressure from Rush and TPs from Impact to make these plays. You saw him running out of mana, just trying to trade back and forth. The fight that happened bottom, he didn't even have mana for an unstoppable force, so his TP wasn't even going to do anything if he had gone for it. They need to have that top lane jungle synergy, and
Yeah.
they need to have Rush exerting pressure.
Impact needs to be aggressive, and he needs to have control of the lane. Like, even if you saw in the Shen matchup, he was bullying. He was bullying really hard, and that allows the jungler to come in for the kill.
Right.
And if you don't have that, you're done.
But also a great adjustment by Team Liquid. You called it out in the pregame. I want to see perhaps a Soraka ban we saw as well
And
as the
Shen,
Shen
yeah.
ban. So we saw both of those come out, and it really did seem to hinder Impulse in their flexibility to be aggressive, having the Shen to always be able to make an appearance in any lane.
Yeah, I feel like when you take out those variables from the other lanes, you really can just focus on winning those lanes. Because, I mean, Gate is also somebody who seems very one-dimensional right now, right? You can give him the Victor, you ban the Azir, they're going to ban the Azir against you on Team Liquid side, and all he can really play now is Lulu. So then you're stuck in these one-threat compositions where the Lulu is building assistive tools to help the AD carry. And if you shut down Apollo and you can keep yourself ahead of the game, you're just going to run away with it. So I feel like Gate is becoming a really big problem in this series. The fact is Champion Pool doesn't seem that diverse.
Yeah, Hotshot, closing thoughts on this series before we move on to a little bit of an interview section here. With the way that things are trending, Liquid picking up this second game, or third game, second win to make it 2-1. What do you feel is going to be the outcome here today?
I mean, TL's picking and banning really well. Like, I didn't expect him to ban Soraka. It's one of my favorite champions. I think that once it hit the meta, once it hits the meta, it's going to really take over. But TL instantly banning that, instantly responding, playing well. It's really scary. Now I want TIP to win, obviously, because we get a free seat to Worlds, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's true.
you know, it hurts to kind of say that, but, you know, we'll beat TSM tomorrow.
All right, well, there you have it. I like to hear that. Let's move into that matchup tomorrow because I did have Dyrus and Wild Turtle up here just a moment ago. Got to speak to them a little bit about it. First, your thoughts on being here in New York City and at Madison Square Garden playing for the title of North American Champions.
It's fantastic. Like, the crowd is awesome. The venue is awesome. It's so great to be here. I'm so very
There
thankful.
they are.
And with this type of energy in the building, how do you think your players are going to be able to handle it going into tomorrow against TSM?
Well, the only person I've been interacting with recently is Doublelift, and he's like soaking up the energy. He loves it. He's in the crowd. He's interacting, so he's ready.
All right, and then finally, your thoughts specifically on the matchup. You already said that you plan on beating them and grabbing that #1 seed to Worlds. But, you know, when you look more specifically at the strengths and weaknesses of TSM and CLG as teams and organizations, how do you think the matchup is going to play out?
I think it's going to be a really tough fight. I don't think any team is going to just go one way. I think it's going to be good games. I think everybody's going to be extremely happy, and we'll see when it happens.
All right, well, there you have it. I think the energy of the crowd, I mean, that's got to feel fantastic. Team Liquid are one game away from grabbing third place and those 30 extra championship points. Keep it tuned right here to see if they can close out the series in Game 3 against Team Impulse.
We're going to find out who wins Game 3 as we load into the Rift right now. Nowhere to go. Exhaust goes on, and Apollo's got to be real careful. Does some damage to Piglet, but first blood, crucially. Health bars are going down. Impact at 1,300 HP. Quasit 2K. Body slam comes in. There's one picked up. It's going to be rushed for the second. They get him. 3 kills picked up for 1. Team Liquid take their second.